Only 8 men saw it. There were no cameras, no reporters waiting outside, no flashing bulbs, no official record filed away in some archive. Just 8 silent witnesses inside a quiet Los Angeles gym in 1972. And every one of them swore for the rest of their lives that what they saw that night shattered everything they believed about size, strength, and power. They said it didn't feel like a sparring session. It felt like watching 2 different laws of physics collide. And it all began with a challenge that sounded almost like a joke. The gym was hidden behind a plain metal door, tucked away from the screaming arenas that usually followed the heavyweight champion of the world. Inside, the air was thick with sweat, leather, and ego. Heavy bags hung perfectly still, as if even they were waiting. The ring lights were dimmed low, casting long shadows across the concrete floor. There were no promoters hyping the moment, no announcers introducing names, just a taped square on the ground and 8 men who understood that what was about to happen would never be publicly acknowledged. In one corner stood Muhammad Ali, 6'3", over 200 pounds of coiled athletic brilliance, Olympic gold medalist, undisputed heavyweight champion. His presence alone changed the temperature of a room. When he moved, the air seemed to react. Even his shadowboxing looked dangerous. His jab wasn't just fast, it was disruptive. It snapped out and returned before most fighters could even register it. He carried himself with that familiar blend of poetry and pride, a grin playing on his lips as if the world were always one punchline away from his control. Across from him stood Bruce Lee, 5'7", 135 pounds, lean, still, wearing a simple black t-shirt and loose training pants. No entourage, no championship belt, no need to prove himself through volume. His body looked carved from wire and lightning. There was no wasted muscle, no unnecessary tension. He stood with the quiet posture of someone who understood every inch of his own mechanics. His eyes weren't on Ali's smile. They weren't on his fists. They were studying his shoulders, his hips, the rhythm of his breathing. Ali had heard the rumors, everyone had, that Bruce was faster than sight, that he could strike between heartbeats, that his 1-inch punch wasn't a trick, but a weapon. Ali admired him publicly, called him impressive, said he was beautiful to watch. But admiration didn't erase curiosity, and curiosity mixed with pride is a volatile combination. Ali circled lazily at first, bouncing lightly on the balls of his feet. "I seen your moves," he said, voice playful but edged with steel. "You quick, real quick, but I'm the greatest. One clean punch from me, you go into sleep." The men along the walls chuckled, not because it was funny, but because when Ali spoke, rooms reacted. His confidence was contagious. Bruce didn't smile. He didn't respond immediately. He simply watched. Not the theatrics, not the grin. He watched alignment, weight distribution, micro adjustments. "You land yours," Ali continued, still bouncing, "then I land mine. 1 punch each, fair." It sounded harmless, almost theatrical, but everyone in that room understood something deeper. Ali's 1 punch wasn't metaphorical. It was nuclear. Bruce tilted his head slightly. He had studied Ali's footwork for years. The rhythm, the shoulder roll, the way his hips initiated power before the fist even left guard. He respected him deeply. In fact, he had once admitted the size difference alone would make a real fight nearly impossible. But this wasn't 12 rounds. This wasn't boxing rules. This was a test of principle, and Bruce built his life around testing principles. "No gloves," Bruce said softly. A ripple of surprise moved through the room. Ali's grin widened. "You think gloves save you?" Bruce shook his head. "They slow me down." Silence followed. Ali removed his gloves without hesitation and dropped them beside the ring apron. The sound echoed louder than it should have. Now it felt real. They stepped into the center of the taped square. No ropes, no referee, just open space. The contrast was almost mythic. Ali towering and broad, radiating heavyweight power. Bruce compact and relaxed, like a drawn bow that didn't look tense but was ready to release. Ali extended his chin slightly in playful arrogance. "Go ahead, little man." Bruce exhaled once. What happened next didn't look dramatic. There was no wild wind-up, no cinematic shout. His rear heel shifted barely an inch. His hips rotated with surgical precision. His fist traveled forward a distance shorter than a school ruler. 6 inches, that was all. But the sound of impact cracked through the gym like a snapped branch in a silent forest. The punch landed directly into Ali's solar plexus. For half a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the air left Ali's lungs as if someone had pulled it out with invisible hands. His chest seized, his diaphragm spasmed violently. He stepped back, once, then again. Not falling, not stumbling wildly, but retreating. And that alone stunned everyone present. The heavyweight champion of the world had just stepped back from a 135-pound man's punch. Ali's mouth opened, but no sound came. He tried to inhale. The air resisted him. His hands instinctively lowered to guard his midsection. Bruce had already returned to stillness. He didn't chase, didn't press advantage. He simply watched. 3 seconds earlier, Ali had been smiling. Now his eyes held recognition. After several long moments, oxygen forced its way back into his lungs. Ali straightened slowly, pride and pain wrestling behind his composed exterior. Bruce bowed his head slightly. "Your turn," he said. The words hung heavy in the air. Ali rolled his shoulders, testing himself. The sting wasn't superficial. It was deep, internal, the kind of strike that bypassed muscle and rattled organs. He stepped forward again. This time there was no grin. He circled once, twice, testing distance. Bruce remained motionless. Ali's lead foot planted, and his jab exploded forward. To the witnesses, it looked instantaneous, but Bruce's head shifted half an inch. The fist sliced past his cheek, grazing nothing but humid air. Before Ali could retract fully, Bruce's hand snapped against his forearm, not clashing force against force, but redirecting it. Ali fired across. Bruce stepped inside the arc. Too close for power, too close for leverage. Ali's greatest weapon depended on extension. Bruce erased extension. In one seamless motion, Bruce's palm shot upward toward Ali's chin, stopping a breath away from contact. Frozen. If it had landed clean, with full follow-through, the outcome would have been devastating. Bruce lowered his hand. "Enough," he said quietly. The gym felt smaller than before. Ali stared at him, then slowly laughed. Not the showman's laugh, a private one, low and honest. "Man," he muttered, shaking his head, "you fast." Respect entered the room like a silent guest. Ali rubbed his abdomen, still feeling the echo of that 6-inch explosion. "Felt like a shotgun," he admitted. Bruce allowed the faintest smile. "Speed," he replied, "is the ultimate weapon." The moment could have ended there. Handshake, mutual admiration, story fading into rumor. But ego, even disciplined ego, rarely surrenders so easily. Ali stepped back again. "Again," he said. The word sharpened the air instantly. Bruce paused, studying Ali's stance. He understood what had just been proven. He also understood repetition invited danger. Heavyweight power only needs one clean connection. But Bruce's philosophy was clear. Express honestly. Test limits without fear. He stepped back into position. Ali advanced first this time, footwork more grounded, less playful. He launched a quick shoulder feint. Bruce didn't react. Another feint. Nothing.
Then suddenly Ali lunged with a committed straight right. The punch tore through space. Bruce pivoted sharply, body turning like a silent hinge. The fist skimmed past his ribs. Bruce countered instantly with a low oblique kick to Ali's lead thigh. Not devastating, strategic. Ali felt it. His balance adjusted. Before he could reset, Bruce's knuckles tapped lightly against his jaw. Not full power, just a reminder of proximity. Tap, tap, gone. Ali swung wider this time. Bruce ducked under, emerging at his side. A sharp back fist flicked against his shoulder. Another low kick followed, controlled, measured, demonstrating angles rather than dominance. The men watching had stopped breathing entirely. This wasn't a brawl. It was geometry in motion. Ali halted suddenly and stepped back. He understood now. This wasn't brute force versus weakness. It was distance versus disruption, timing versus torque. Different world, Ali admitted quietly. Bruce inclined his head. Yes. No hostility, no rivalry, just acknowledgement. Under boxing rules, Ali would reign supreme. Under no rules, under pure adaptation, Bruce was untouchable. They shook hands again. No applause, no announcement. Just 8 men processing what they had witnessed. Outside, Los Angeles traffic moved as usual. No one knew that inside that concrete building, myth had quietly been born. Rumors would spread slowly in the months that followed, whispers in locker rooms, half-believed stories. They say Ali couldn't breathe. They say Bruce slipped everything. No footage ever surfaced, no official confirmation ever came. But memory is powerful, and sometimes memory becomes legend. Bruce never spoke publicly about it, neither did Ali, yet something subtle shifted afterward. Ali's respect for martial artists deepened. Bruce continued refining his philosophy, stripping away excess, keeping only what worked. He would later say, absorb what is useful, reject what is useless. That night, both men absorbed something useful. Ali absorbed the shock of invisible speed. Bruce absorbed confirmation that size alone does not dictate outcome. The world never recorded that meeting, but those 8 men carried it like a secret flame. And in the end, the lesson echoed louder than any headline ever could. Speed is power, precision is dominance, and mastery doesn't need an audience.
Bruce stepped back into the square without a word. The sound of his bare feet brushing lightly against the canvas-like mat seemed louder than it should have. Behind him, the metal door clicked shut as one of the 8 witnesses leaned his weight against it, sealing the room from the outside world. Whatever happened next would not travel beyond these concrete walls, at least not in any official form. No reporters, no cameras, no sanctioning bodies. Just breath, bone, and belief colliding in a closed space heavy with anticipation. Across from him stood Muhammad Ali, rolling his neck slowly from side to side. The playful grin he had worn earlier was gone. In its place was something colder, sharper. The expression he carried before championship rounds when the jokes stopped and calculation began. He had felt the first punch, not as a trick, not as a showpiece. It had burrowed into his core and shut down his lungs like someone had flicked off a switch inside his body. And that bothered him, not because it hurt, but because it surprised him. Ali did not get surprised. Facing him, Bruce Lee adjusted his stance. It wasn't traditional, not a rigid kung fu pose designed for demonstration. It was loose, alive. His lead hand floated low, almost careless. His rear hand hovered near his center line, relaxed but ready. His shoulders were dropped, his breathing steady. He looked as if he could walk away at any moment, and that was precisely what made him dangerous.
The air in the room felt heavier now. The 8 men lining the walls understood instinctively that this second exchange would not be playful experimentation. pride had entered the equation. Not the loud, performative pride of press conferences, but the quiet, internal pride that lives inside champions. Ali spoke first. His voice was lower now. "This time," he said, "I'm not pulling anything." Bruce nodded once. "I expect you not to." No theatrics followed, no taunts, no laughter, just truth hanging between them. Ali moved first. The shift was immediate. His footwork snapped into a different rhythm, sharper, more direct, less bounce and more purpose. He closed the distance faster than a man his size should be able to. His jab came without warning, full extension, full commitment, slicing through the air like a blade. Bruce's head slipped just outside the line of attack. The gloveless fist brushed a strand of his hair, close enough to feel wind. A collective gasp rippled along the walls. Ali pivoted instantly into a hook, torque flowing from his hips through his shoulder. Bruce ducked beneath it, the punch whistling above his skull. As he rose, his elbow drove lightly into Ali's ribs, not crushing, not reckless, but precise. A reminder that proximity favors the smaller man who understands angles. Ali felt it. He adjusted without hesitation, stepping back half a foot to reset distance. Now he wasn't brawling, he was hunting, thinking like a sniper. He feinted high. Bruce didn't blink. Ali dipped low and fired a lightning uppercut. It came fast, frighteningly fast for a heavyweight. Bruce twisted sideways at the last possible instant. The punch grazed his shoulder instead of detonating against his chin. Even partial contact carried force. The impact shoved him back a step. The room inhaled sharply. That was different. That was heavyweight reality. Ali saw it too. For the first time, Bruce had given ground. He pressed forward, sensing opportunity. Another jab snapped out. Bruce parried. A cross followed. Bruce deflected. But this time, Ali stayed balanced, not overcommitting. His feet cut subtle angles, narrowing escape routes. Bruce's eyes sharpened. This was dangerous now. Ali wasn't simply throwing power, he was adapting. They circled, slow, calculated. Ali's breathing had changed, steadier, deeper. He wasn't trying to end it with one blow anymore. He was constructing a trap. 3 seconds passed. 4. Then Ali lunged with a sudden combination. Jab, cross, hook. A sequence that had dismantled giants in packed arenas. Bruce moved in fragments of motion. Left, down, inside. The hook clipped his forearm instead of his jaw. Pain flared along his arm. Heavy, real, undeniable. Bruce responded instantly with a snapping oblique kick to Ali's lead knee. The sound echoed sharply. Ali's leg buckled half an inch, not enough to fall, but enough to fracture rhythm. Bruce followed with a straight lead punch that struck Ali's chest at sternum level, short, explosive, efficient. Ali grunted, not because it crushed him, but because it kept landing. Bruce never swung wide, never wasted motion. Every movement was surgical, as if he were solving an equation rather than fighting a man. Ali exhaled slowly and then smiled, not mockingly, but with recognition. "You different," he muttered. Bruce said nothing. Without warning, Ali surged forward in a sudden rush, a bull charge fueled by mass and momentum, the kind of forward pressure that collapses smaller fighters by sheer presence alone. Bruce's back foot slid as Ali's shoulder drove into his guard, pushing him toward the edge of the taped square. The wall loomed just behind. Ali's right hand cocked back. This was the moment, the one punch. Full torque, full weight, no restraint. Time seemed to stretch thin. One of the witnesses near the heavy bag whispered, "Oh no." Ali's fist launched forward like a cannon shot. Bruce didn't retreat. He stepped inside the punch. The fist skimmed past his ear with a violent gust. At the same instant, Bruce's left hand snapped upward, striking Ali's bicep and subtly redirecting the trajectory.
Simultaneously, his right fist drove hard into Ali's floating ribs, harder than before, with committed intention. A sharp, cracking thud filled the gym. Ali's eyes widened as his torso twisted involuntarily. The torque of his own missed punch, combined with the rib strike, disrupted his balance. Bruce pivoted offline in one fluid motion, escaping the corner before Ali could recalibrate. Ali staggered a single step sideways, not falling, but undeniably shaken. The witnesses stood frozen. What they were seeing wasn't fantasy choreography, it was physics, leverage versus mass, timing versus torque. Ali inhaled sharply, testing his ribs. He looked at Bruce differently now, not as a curiosity, not as a smaller man stepping out of his depth, but as a legitimate threat within these conditions. "Again," Ali said softly. Bruce nodded. They circled once more, slower this time, measured. Ali shifted tactics. He didn't attack immediately. He waited. Bruce waited. 5 seconds, 10. The silence stretched until it felt like pressure against the skull. Ali extended a probing jab, not to strike, but to measure. Bruce brushed it aside. Ali saw the speed of the reaction and instantly followed with a lightning right cross hidden behind the measuring jab. It connected. Not flush, but enough. Bruce's head snapped slightly as knuckles grazed his cheekbone. The impact was dull but heavy. A gasp escaped the room. Bruce stepped back 2 paces. Ali did not pursue.
He had felt it too. Even partial contact from him carried dangerous weight. Bruce touched his cheek lightly. A faint redness had already begun to bloom. He looked up, eyes calm, alive, not angry, just collecting data. "That's heavy weight," Ali said evenly. Bruce nodded. "Yes." Then Bruce did something unexpected. He relaxed further. His shoulders dropped, his hands lowered almost casually. Ali frowned. Was he fatigued? Was he conceding? Bruce's foot shifted, barely visible, his weight redistributed with microscopic precision. Ali sensed something. Too late. Bruce exploded forward with a burst of speed that blurred perception. A rapid-fire combination unfolded in less than 3 seconds, a straight lead snapping into Ali's nose, a low kick slamming into the thigh, a back fist grazing the temple. Each strike cracked like a whip. Ali blocked too. The third slipped through. The low kick thudded solidly. Before Ali could counter, Bruce had already pivoted away. 3 seconds. It felt impossible. Ali blinked, absorbing what had happened. He had defended himself, but he had been overwhelmed. Speed like that didn't allow strategy, it forced reaction. Ali lowered his hand slightly, breathing controlled. He wasn't smiling, he wasn't frustrated, he was learning. "You don't fight," he said quietly. "You flow." Bruce's reply was soft but steady. "Be water." The words settled into the air between them. Water does not collide head-on with stone. It adapts, it surrounds, it erodes, it survives. They stood facing one another, both breathing harder now, both aware that pushing further could mean injury neither could afford. Pride had been tested, respect had been earned. Ali stepped forward and extended his hand. "Under boxing rules," he said, "I'd hurt you." Bruce clasped his hand firmly. "Under no rules," he replied, "you would not touch me." Silence followed, not hostile, not tense, just truth acknowledged between masters.
Ali clapped Bruce lightly on the shoulder. "You something else," he admitted. Bruce gave a small bow. "And you are the greatest." The tension dissolved quietly. They separated without fanfare. No announcement, no headlines, no footage. Only 8 men with widened eyes and a story they would struggle to tell without sounding unbelievable. Years later, whispers would circulate through gyms in New York, Hong Kong, Las Vegas. They tested each other once. Ali couldn't breathe. Bruce slipped everything. He got clipped, though. Every version slightly different, none entirely wrong. Because what happened that night wasn't about dominance, it was about boundaries. Ali represented the pinnacle of boxing: discipline, reach, power refined to championship form. Bruce represented limitless adaptation, stripping away excess until only function remained. For a few electrifying minutes inside that closed gym in 1972, those philosophies collided without rules to protect them. No one challenged Bruce publicly after the rumor spread, not because they believed he could defeat every heavyweight alive, but because they understood something unsettling. If he could step inside Ali's power and survive, even thrive, what could he do to men half as skilled? Bruce left first, as he always did. No celebration, no storytelling, just quiet footsteps disappearing into the Los Angeles night. Ali remained a while longer, testing his ribs again, replaying exchanges in his mind. A faint smile lingered on his face. Even the greatest appreciated being tested. In the years that followed, Bruce Lee's legend would expand beyond martial arts, films, philosophy, an entirely new lens through which combat was viewed: efficiency over tradition, speed over mass, expression over imitation. And though no camera captured that night, the lesson endured. Size intimidates. Power terrifies, but speed, true, disciplined, intelligent speed, rewrites outcomes. Bruce once said, "Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do." That night, he did. He stepped into a room with the most dangerous punch on earth and trusted not his weight, not his size, but his mastery. Only 8 men saw it. No footage was ever released, no official statement made, but legends are not built on paperwork. They are built on impact, and that impact echoed long after the lights shut off. If you felt that moment, if you believe skill outweighs size, if you respect precision over brute force, subscribe, because some stories are not written in record books. They are whispered in quiet gyms and remembered forever.